Shocking new twists and turns in the death of child actor Gary Coleman. We are now hearing that Gary Coleman sought a restraining order against his ex-wife, Shannon Price, accusing her of trespassing into his home and stealing his belongings. This, of course, the very same woman who ordered doctors to pull the plug on Gary. Radar Online obtained court documents, which the Different Strokes star put into motion just months ago. They've never been seen before because they were filed under John and Jane Doe, but there's proof, Radar says, that they are legit. Gary signed them. The restraining order alleges Price has shown a tendency to damage, destroy, and steal Coleman's property. Now, here's the ex on ABC's Good Morning America right after Gary's death.
I just hope Gary's happy and, he's in a better place and he's not suffering anymore, with all the health issues he's had over the years. I'm just happy that, he's finally peaceful and at rest.
So was Gary Coleman violating his own restraining order by sleeping in the same bed with his ex-wife? Was this your classic dysfunctional love relationship? Taking your calls. 1-877-JVM says, along with my fantastic panel. We are joined by Gary Coleman's former attorney, Randy Kester. Randy, you were reportedly the lawyer who filed this restraining order on behalf of Gary Coleman. Can you tell us, set the scene, what brought all this about? Why did he do it?
Well, I think, as everyone knows, Gary was in severe ill health for a number of months. This occurred while Gary was in hospital and hospice care and didn't have any means available to protect his own property. I got a phone call from him while he was in the hospital saying that he was concerned about what was happening to his belongings and to his home, and asked me to help get this restraining order and draft the affidavit in support of it.
Why on earth did he give her or allow her to keep, Randy, the legal ability to pull the plug on him?
Well, I'm not certain that he did. The consent form that everyone's seen is from 2006. That consent form was actually rendered null and void by way of their divorce in 2008. So that document was of no legal force and effect. They were divorced at the time of his death, so in truth and reality, she had no authority to do what she did.
Well, Carlos Diaz, what we're hearing is a bombshell right there. If, in fact, she told doctors that she had the authority to pull the plug and told them to pull the plug, and she didn't have that, that's a big, big deal.
That's a big deal, both for her seeking the estate of Gary Coleman, and this restraining order cannot help her as she seeks the estate of Gary Coleman, and Anna Gray also wanting the estate of Gary Coleman. When you have two people battling, one person has a restraining order just 3 months before Gary Coleman's death, the other person doesn't, you got to think a judge is going to side with the other person. Gary
Coleman was arrested last January on a domestic violence warrant. Police came to his house after Shannon called 911. Check out this.
I have a friend over here, and he's like humiliating me in front of my friends, and, it's just bullshit. I don't know.
Okay. Does he look injured?
I don't know. I'm not going to touch him.
You don't know?
Because last time I tried to help him, he come after me.
Kent Emmons, you are a friend of Gary Coleman's. What do you make of all these shocking new developments that, gosh, he wanted a restraining order against her? She, according to what we're just hearing now, that's breaking news, allegedly may not have had the right to order doctors to pull the plug on him.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that she didn't have the right to pull the plug. The other thing, too, and Randy will probably tell you this, she was out of her mind. She was crazy. It kind of reminds me of that movie Misery with Katherine Bates and James Caan. I mean, she was very controlling and really made his life tough.
Wow, this is scary stuff. Everyone stay right where you are. We're going to get to a family law attorney on the other side, find out how this might impact the battle over the wills. The ex has one will, and then another woman has another will. What happened in Gary's life?
For this big bang, I went downstairs, blood everywhere. I don't know if he's okay. I'm not down there right now because I have seizures. If I get stressed out, I'm going to seize.
Is there any way you can go down there at all?
I'll try. I don't know. I mean, I can't.
How old is your husband?
My big issue tonight is a disturbing portrait of this woman, the ex, emerging. Gary claimed in a court document his ex-wife Shannon trespassed into his house and stole his stuff. Months later, she orders doctors to pull the plug. Now we're hearing, well, somebody's alleging she didn't have a legal right to do that. Her 911 call that you just heard, that didn't endear her to anyone. And then she poses for photos with Gary on his deathbed, photos that end up on the cover of a tabloid. Vikki Ziegler, she is now engaged in a battle of wills with another woman. The ex, Shannon, says she has a handwritten will from 2007. Will her behavior affect her ability to get his estate?
I hope not. One after another debacle of this woman. And I think this restraining order, Jane, is a bombshell. It clearly states that there couldn't be a common law marriage between these two parties. He was afraid of her destroying his property. And number two, what is so important here, and I think it's going to really crush her argument in probate court, is that in 2007, there's an alleged codicil to the will that says Shannon gets everything, apparently. However, in Utah, under law, you cannot inherit. An ex-spouse cannot inherit anything that was accrued during the marriage if you're divorced. The parties got divorced in 2008. She's going to have a huge uphill battle trying to get anything from this estate, I hope, in the court of law.
Dina, Marilyn, your question or thought, ma'am?
Hi, Jane. I just have a comment. Last week, the first time you had Shannon's friend on, and
Yes.
they were asking her why she didn't take the weekend to think about pulling the plug.
Yeah.
Just as you went to commercial break, she said, well, his heart was about to give out. And that didn't make any sense to me, and I don't know if you picked up on that.
Yeah, Carlos Diaz, you were the one who said, why did you wait the weekend before pulling the plug?
Yeah, you know, I mean, if you love the guy so much and if you're wanting to renew your vows, why in the world would you not wait until the last minute? I mean, you waited less than 24 hours after the guy was admitted to the hospital before you pull the plug. The heart is about to go out? Well, then let the heart go out and die of natural causes rather than pulling the plug, or at least, you know, take the weekend to think about it. It's a Memorial Day weekend. You got 3 days. Think about it before you pull the plug on this guy you allegedly love.
Kent Emmons, you're a friend of Gary Coleman's. Carlos Diaz has said that he thinks this case should be reopened because the police concluded there was no evidence of any foul play, and this was all above board. What do you think, Kent?
You know, Carlos is absolutely right. He's done a great job covering this, and he is so right. And you know, the gall of this woman to pull the plug and then act like the widow in grieving. I mean, it's like the Menendez brothers begging for mercy because they're an orphan. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, listen, we have to say that Shannon's agent, Sheila Erickson, is saying her client is getting a bad rap. She blames everything on Shannon's poor health. Listen to this from last Thursday's issues.
Well, I can tell you that I actually sat with Gary and Shannon a day before Gary fell. And Shannon was actually being measured for seizures. So, you know, I sat at the end of the bed visiting with both of them for like 4 hours. Gary's on one side, sick. Shannon's on the other side, dealing with her seizure issues.
That's it. We have no more time. We told both sides you were watching Issues on HLN.